The current time is 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
You are listening to Concord Community Television. Now for the latest weather report from the National Weather Service. Heavy bands of snow are currently moving into northern Connecticut. At 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, National Weather Service Doppler radar indicated that the leading edge of this blizzard was moving into Connecticut. At this time, this storm is forecast to enter into southern Massachusetts and western Rhode Island within the next 2 hours, and that it will move into New England by 11 p.m. Winter storm warnings or winter weather advisories are in effect for these areas until 10 p.m. Saturday. Blizzard conditions will make visibility on roads less than a 64th of a mile and will create slick spots across untreated roads and sidewalks in the warned areas. Please travel with extreme caution this evening and throughout the day Saturday. Slow down and avoid braking suddenly at all costs. In addition, a coastal flood advisory remains in effect from 8 p.m. this evening until noon Sunday. Locations included in the advisory area include eastern-facing shorelines in Massachusetts from Nantucket northward to Cape Cod to Boston and north to Salisbury. Minor coastal flooding is extremely likely along vulnerable locations in the advisory area. Pockets of low and moderate flooding are possible, mainly from Scituate north to Kalen. Timing: within a few hours of high tide. Impacts: expect road closures during hours close or during high tide. Expect large oceanic breakers to pass over seawalls resulting in minor coastal flooding. Ocean water may also inundate Morrissey Boulevard in Boston and along Easy Street in Nantucket Harbor. A coastal flood advisory is issued for minor coastal flooding of the most vulnerable roads along the shores and partial or complete flooding basements due to the heights of storm tidal waves. Most roads will remain completely passable with only isolated road closures expected to be generated from the storm. Please be advised, however, that flooding does not face an immediate threat to life, and any property damage should be minimal in nature.
We interrupt regularly scheduled programming to bring you this civil danger warning. This is a global emergency. Please stand by for a message from your government. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, the European Space Agency, the United Nations, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the Governor of the State of Massachusetts, and the White House. At approximately 8:08 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, astronomers and scientists around the world alerted NASA and the European Space Agency to the presence of unprecedented levels of gamma radiation, which has been interfering with radio signals, satellite connections and broadcasting mediums. The origin of the gamma radiation was initially believed to be emitted from a solar storm, but it appears that this is very much not the case. Scientists around the world will be working around the clock to determine the exact origin of the gamma radiation, but it may be some time before an origin is determined, and NASA will be working around the clock to determine the reason for such high levels of gamma radiation. As for now, all citizens are being requested to exercise extreme caution if venturing outside or traveling outdoors. In addition, in a joint bulletin from the National Aeronautics and Space Agency and the European Space Agency, these organizations are advising all citizens to remain calm and to not panic. Panic will only lead to unnecessary confusion or injuries. Citizens should also remain tuned to news outlets to keep advised of the latest news and information about this astronomical phenomenon. You are listening to the emergency notification system. This station has interrupted regularly scheduled programming at the request of your government to participate in this nationwide activation of the emergency notification system. All broadcast and cable systems shall transmit this message. We now return you to the National Weather Service.
You are listening to Concord Community Television. Now for the latest weather report from the National Weather Service.
We interrupt regular programming to bring you this civil danger warning. This is a civil danger warning. Please stand by for a message from the National Aeronautics and Space Administration.
Good morning to you all. My name is Lisa Jacobson, and I am here to make a statement on the behalf of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. Over the past 16 hours, we have been, as you all are now aware, experiencing a higher influx of gamma radiation from a source which we believed was from the sun, possibly due to a higher than usual solar storm. However, after the 16-hour period, since we were first informed of this increase in gamma radiation, we have confirmed part of our initial hypothesis. We have confirmed that the higher influx of gamma radiation is being caused by the sun. However, something far more dire than a solar storm is taking place to cause such an increase in gamma radiation. Over the 16-hour observation period which we have just concluded, it has been determined that the sun is not just experiencing a solar storm. We have noticed that a shocking decrease in surface temperature on the sun has caused a decrease of over 4,500 Kelvin in the last 2 weeks alone. We have determined that a disturbing situation is unfolding. The sun is dying. We repeat, it is believed that the sun is dying and that actions must be immediately taken should we hope to save the star at the center of our solar system. For more on the actions we are planning to take to hopefully save our sun, we now would like to allow the Department of Defense to make a statement over the emergency notification system about the initial actions that will be taken and what citizens should immediately do to protect themselves against said actions.
After consulting with allies overseas, the United States Department of Defense has determined that as a first attempt to reheat the sun, that the entire nuclear arsenal of the United States military should be launched at the sun in a mutual launch operation between the United States, North Korea, China, Japan, England, and Mexico. This mutual launch operation will see the entire nuclear arsenals of the aforementioned countries launched with a single trajectory towards the sun. The hope is that the extreme heat generated from the multitude of nuclear detonations will, at least for a short time, allow the sun to remain at full capacity, which should hopefully allow for a noticeable decrease in gamma radiation, which is believed, if not contained, could damage or even completely destroy the Earth's ozone layer. Nuclear launches will commence momentarily, and some nuclear launches may have already taken place. Citizens should be aware of the possible ramifications these actions may have on the general public, not just of the United States, but on the world population as a whole. The first and most noticeable effect that will be immediately caused by nuclear detonations around and near the sun will be radiation possibly being spread throughout the atmosphere of the Earth itself due to the high altitudes detonations will be taking place near. For this reason, all citizens are being asked to treat the impending detonations as a large-scale nuclear attack. Again, citizens are being asked to treat the impending detonations as a large-scale nuclear attack. Once a nuclear detonation has occurred, it will take only a few hours for radioactive fallout to reach you. Radioactive fallout is a byproduct of nuclear explosions and is deadly to humans if exposed for extended periods of time. Please take cover immediately indoors or in a basement of a sturdy building. Shut off all heating and ventilation systems and seal all cracks and openings to your home. This will minimize the possibility of fallout contamination inside of your shelter and will prevent radiation sickness, which once again is fatal to humans. The second most noticeable effect these detonations will cause will be a worldwide power outages which may be caused by the explosions. For this reason, all citizens are asked to power off all devices which are currently being powered via electricity and seek out a battery or crank-operated radio or television to continue to receive up to the minute updates on the situation. Following nuclear detonation, please remain in your place of shelter for a period of no shorter than 14 days or when civil authorities transmit an all-clear alert for your area. We now return you to a bulletin from the National Aeronautics and Space Administration.
As you just heard, the actions being taken will not only impact Americans but will impact the entire population of the planet as a whole. For this reason, similar bulletins are currently being transmitted by national warning systems worldwide so that humanity can be properly prepared for the implications that not only the actions being taken to avert the solar crisis, but the implications which could ensue should we fail to reignite the sun. We will reconnect with you all in approximately 3 days over the emergency notification system to inform you of the success or failure of the first operation to save our sun. We now return you to the emergency notification system.
That was a message from the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. Please seek shelter on the lowest floor of your home or a sturdy building after securing all entrances to your home, covering all cracks and openings to the outside world with tape or damp towels, and after disengaging any air conditioning or heating systems in your home. Remember to keep a crank-operated or battery-powered radio or television set with you in your shelter to remain informed of the latest news and emergency information for your area. This is the emergency notification system. This station has agreed to participate in the National Emergency Notification System to keep the public informed of situations involving significant danger to the civilian populace. This message will repeat every 5 minutes until further information is received. We interrupt regularly scheduled programming at the request of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration and the United States government. This is a global emergency. Approximately 3 hours ago, an operation which was hoped would reignite the sun has catastrophically failed. The following information about the nature of the operation's failure can be released at this time. While after expert analysis, approximately 147 nuclear detonations occurred in extremely close range of the sun, approximately 39 missiles have struck an object which as a result has been destroyed, and the remnants of this object are on a direct course to Earth. 3122 Florence has been directly impacted by the aforementioned 39 missiles, and it has been confirmed to have been destroyed. 3122 Florence is a stony trinary asteroid, designated as a S-type asteroid. 3122 Florence is the primary moon of the Sun and measures 5 kilometers or 3.1 miles. It has been estimated that 3122 Florence's remains are now on a direct course for the Earth and will be impacting the planet within the next 2 to 4 hours. NASA along with the European Space Agency have estimated the following locations as likely impact locations. The following message has been transmitted at the request of the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center, and the United States government. This is an evacuation immediate message for the following areas or locations. In the United States. The state of California. Around 5 minutes ago, NORAD confirmed that a large portion of the remains of 3122 Florence have made direct impact with the city of Los Angeles, California, and that early estimates are that the size of the meteoric remains which impacted the city are upwards of 2.5 kilometers or 1.5 miles. It has been confirmed that the remains made direct contact with Dodger Stadium and that at this time, it is believed that the entire city of Los Angeles, California has been completely devastated and that the likelihood of survivors is very low at this time. In addition, another meteoric impact has occurred approximately 125 miles off the coast of San Francisco, California, and at this time, earthquakes upwards of 10.0 on the Richter scale have already begun to occur. In addition, National Weather Service Doppler radar has detected that a tsunami has been generated from the impact which took place 125 miles off the coast of San Francisco. Waves from this tsunami are currently at around 3,500 feet in height, but it is expected that upon impact, a wave of over 7,500 feet will directly impact the California coastline. These waves have been estimated to be traveling at a speed of around 55 to 60 miles per hour, and that initial impact will completely destroy locations within a 25-mile area of coastal areas in California, and that locations for an additional 125 to 300 miles will experience damage that will render areas uninhabitable for a considerable length of time. This is a life or death situation. If you do not evacuate, you face certain death. Civil authorities have determined that it is advisable for all persons hearing this emergency notification system message to leave the state of California and travel further inland of the United States at once. This is an evacuation order, meaning that you are required by your government to evacuate. Grab any supplies that you will need to survive throughout the coming days and weeks, such as medications and other medical supplies. If possible, a large supply of bottled water and non-perishable foods, a flashlight, a battery or crank-operated radio or television set, blankets to keep yourself warm in the event that you are stranded, and any other essential items. In addition, please remain calm and composed. Your safety and your life depends on you remaining calm in this situation and following these instructions. Do not attempt to cross town for any reason. Leave the city immediately on the shortest available route. Absent members of your family will be reunited with the family following the conclusion of this event. Load all members of the family currently with you into your vehicle and evacuate immediately. Do not waste time attempting to contact anyone. Doing so will only shorten the window of time you have to evacuate. Ensure that if your vehicle can receive radio signals, that it is tuned to either 640 or 1240 on the AM band to continue to be informed of developments in this situation and for the latest news and emergency information for your locality. Again, remain calm and allow others the same chance you would want for yourself to leave town. Everyone can evacuate safely if we act calmly. If your car is rendered inoperative and is on the highway or roadway, push it to the side of the road and get a ride with someone else who has a car that is fully operational. By the same token, if you see persons who need a ride, please give them a ride if you have enough space in your vehicle to accommodate for additional passengers. Stay in your lanes and stay in your place. Do not attempt to cut in front of others. Doing so will only result in traffic jams, which lessens the chance of survival not just for yourself, but for other drivers. If you have a place of refuge at least 150 miles from the state of California, go there now and remain there until it is advised that you are safe to return home. If you do not have a place of refuge, FEMA will be setting up refugee camps for anyone displaced by this disaster, and hotels will also be allowing for displaced citizens to reside there until the crisis has ended and it is determined to be safe to return to the state of California. Do not listen to rumors and, above all, remain calm and composed. Stay tuned to this station for further updates and advisories. This is the emergency notification system serving the Los Angeles area. If you are not in this area, tune to stations providing emergency news and instructions for your area. This message will repeat in 1 minute. The emergency notification system has been activated to keep you informed.
Warning. We interrupt this presentation with the following urgent message regarding the stuff. If you see it in stores, call the police. If you have it in your home, don't touch it. Get out. The stuff is a product of nature, a deadly living organism. It is addictive and destructive. It can overcome your mind and take over your body. And nothing can.
The following message has been ordered for immediate transmission at the request of the United States Geological Survey. The Mauna Loa volcano located in the state of Hawaii is showing signs indicating that it is at immediate risk of eruption. Residents of Maui County are being highly encouraged to stay on high alert and be prepared in the case of a volcanic eruption emanating from the Mauna Loa volcano. A team from the United States Geological Survey is currently en route to Mauna Loa and will be residing near the volcano in order to monitor it for further signs of eruption. Stay tuned to local television and radio stations to continue to be informed of the newest information and emergency instructions regarding this developing situation and the possible eruption of the Mauna Loa volcano.
This is a volcano warning. Repeating, this is a volcano warning. The following message has been ordered for immediate transmission at the request of the United States Geological Survey and the governor of the state of Hawaii. The Mauna Loa volcano is showing signs of eruption. It is believed that a volcanic eruption emanating from the Mauna Loa volcano is due to occur at any moment. Although it cannot be determined that an eruption will happen for sure, data gathered by the team that has been monitoring the Mauna Loa volcano indicates that an eruption is imminent. It is now being advised that all citizens hearing this message should immediately begin to evacuate the island of Maui in the state of Hawaii. If you do not evacuate, you face almost certain death should an eruption occur. All unnecessary travel is being highly discouraged at this time. If you are traveling, it should be to reach a location which can facilitate your immediate evacuation from the state of Hawaii. This is the emergency notification system serving the Hananao-Napapu area. If you are not in this local area, you should now tune to a station serving your local area. The emergency notification system has been activated. A civil danger warning is now in effect for the following locations. In the state of Hawaii. The entire state of Hawaii. This civil danger warning will remain in effect until further notice. The following message has been transmitted at the request of the United States Geological Survey, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, and the Hawaii National Guard. The Mauna Loa volcano, which the United States Geological Survey indicated was at high risk of eruption, has been confirmed to have erupted. Residents within a 100-mile radius of the Mauna Loa volcano are being asked to evacuate at once. If you choose not to evacuate, you put your life in extreme danger and will face certain death. A death toll is estimated to be extreme for those who choose not to evacuate, and that areas within a 5-mile radius of the Mauna Loa volcano have already been completely and utterly destroyed due to the unprecedented force at which the volcano erupted. Repeating, the Mauna Loa volcano has erupted. Evacuate now, or you will be facing certain death.
The following message has been transmitted at the request of the New York City Police Department. Mass rioting is currently taking place in Times Square. Approximately 30 minutes ago, an unknown terrorist or hacker group managed to take control of multiple video boards around Times Square and broadcast images that this unknown group claimed indicated that the National Aeronautics and Space Administration have information about the true nature of 3122 Florence's destruction and eventual impact with the planet. This group claims that an outside group is directly involved in the destruction of 3122 Florence, and that this group is also responsible for the mysterious changes in the temperature and radiation output of the sun, and that the nuclear launches were in fact an attempt to destroy this group. Even though this group only managed to seize control of video boards in Times Square, the supposed evidence this unknown group showed has now gone viral on social media, and at this time, mass rioting is taking place in New York City, as well as around the world. The New York City Police Department is now issuing this law enforcement warning to the public to advise them to refrain from rioting. The National Aeronautics and Space Administration, as well as the United States military, the Department of Defense, the FBI, and the Central Intelligence Agency are baffled as to who attempted to discredit the government, but would like to assure the public that all of the evidence which was broadcast is entirely doctored. Repeating, the evidence which was broadcast is entirely doctored, and there is no reason to partake in civil disobedience of any form or to participate in riots. Participating in the ongoing riots will only result in your arrest if caught and loss of a right to legal counsel. All citizens hearing this message are ordered to return home immediately and to not leave their homes until it has been ordered safe to do so by the NYPD and the United States government. This is the emergency notification system serving the New York City area. If you are not in this area, please tune to stations providing news and emergency information for your area. The emergency notification system has been Please stand by for a message from an unknown sender. This concludes this activation of the emergency notification system. Please remain vigilant as rioting may expand outside of the warned area at any time. We now return you to regularly scheduled programming. The following message has been transmitted at the request of the United States government and the United States military. This is a shelter-in-place warning for the United States, effective as of 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today, until further notice. Mass rioting is continuing to take place throughout the United States. Due to the unprecedented violence rioters are exhibiting, such as breaking and entering into the homes of law-abiding citizens and committing acts of murder, instigating mass looting, and attacks against civil authorities, the United States government, as of 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, has taken the drastic but necessary action of issuing a nationwide shelter-in-place warning that will remain in effect indefinitely. The United States government would like to once again ensure citizens that the so-called evidence that the group which has now been identified as the Cure showed in Times Square approximately 90 minutes ago is nothing more than doctored images which they chose to display in an attempt to blackmail the United States government into achieving their goals and gaining access to sensitive information within the computer systems of the Department of Defense, Central Intelligence Agency, and the Federal Bureau of Investigations. At this time, the United States is once again asking citizens to cease rioting and return to peaceful activity at once, and to immediately, should you have direct information about the identities of members of the Cure, send such information to the United States government at once. Here is specific information for the New York City area. Due to the situation now facing the New York City Police Department, the governor of the state of New York and the New York City Police Department have determined that the only suitable course of action to take at this time is to call in the assistance of the New York National Guard to directly aid the New York City Police Department in a mutual assistance operation to restore law and order and to protect life and property. Due to the civil unrest in the New York City area, citizens are being asked to immediately shelter in place and to avoid traveling. If you have a medical emergency, mount a red blanket or red towel in a window or other noticeable area of your home, and members of the New York City Police Department will attempt to rescue you from your home and aid you in receiving adequate medical attention. If you have a medical emergency that requires you to travel, dial 911 immediately for assistance by medical or military personnel. Otherwise, remain at home and do not travel. Due to the nature of the violence being perpetrated by these rioters, you are being urged to take the following steps to protect yourself in the case that a rioter attempts or successfully breaks into your home. First and foremost, lock all windows and doors or other entrances to your home at once, and do not allow yourself to be spotted by any rioters. To do this, ensure that all curtains and blinds that cover windows visible to the outside world are shut and that lights in your home are turned off completely or to a level which would not allow rioters to see that you are present in your home or place of refuge. In addition, you should now seek the lowest floor in your home or shelter and barricade all entrances to this space in an attempt to block rioters from entering your inner refuge should they trespass into your home or shelter. Using heavy objects such as tall bookcases, beds, couches, recliners, or other hard-to-move objects are ideal, but if you do not have such objects, use whatever you can to barricade your inner refuge. If you have armed protection, bring it with you to your inner refuge and be prepared to defend the lives of yourself and your family should rioters breach your inner refuge. In addition, do not answer doors for anyone, regardless of who they claim to be. Assume that anyone who attempts to seek entrance to your inner refuge after you have successfully relocated to said refuge are rioters who seek to harm you and your family. Only open your refuge to civil or military authorities who will state their name, position, and badge number, or who shine a brilliantly bright flashlight into your shelter. Such light sources should be visible through peepholes or on the edges of doors or windows. Finally, do not participate in the riots for any reason. Doing so will put your life at risk, as lethal force has been authorized for members of the military and for police authorities should rioters not surrender to authorities if approached. In addition, if caught rioting, you will be placed into military custody without the right to legal counsel. That was a message regarding your area. Please adhere to all orders and requests from civil and military authorities. The National Aeronautics and Space Administration will be making a statement about 3122 Florence across all broadcasting mediums in approximately 2 hours. Please stay tuned for this message. This is the emergency notification system serving the New York City area. If you are not in this local area, please tune to a station providing emergency information and news updates for your local area. The emergency notification system has been activated to keep you informed. We interrupt this program at the request of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration and the United States government. At approximately 1 p.m. Central Standard Time today, the TRDSM space satellite detected an unknown object on its telemetry systems, with the object on a direct course towards Earth. The object is approximately 1.5 miles wide by 3 miles high, with an estimated depth of around 2 miles. The object is approximately 621 miles from the Earth at this time, and that the origin of this object is unknown at this time. The object is approaching the Earth at a speed of around 1,864 miles per hour, although it has been noticeably decelerating as it continues to close the distance between itself and the Earth, and is expected to directly impact the planet within the next 15 to 20 minutes. NASA, the European Space Agency, and the United States government are urging all citizens to not panic, return to their homes immediately, as it is currently unknown where the object will impact upon its arrival, and to stay tuned for more information on this situation as it becomes available. You are listening to the emergency notification system serving the Chicago, Illinois area. If you are not in this local area, you should now tune to stations providing news and information for your local area. The emergency notification system has been activated. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the United States government and the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. Here is the latest update on the object reported on approximately 15 minutes ago by NASA. The object has been confirmed to have touched down successfully, with its final impact site being the United Center in Chicago, Illinois. Upon impacting the site, the object did not destroy the United Center, as it was believed it would destroy and lay waste to anything in the immediate radius of its impact point, but is now in fact resting safely on top of the United Center in Chicago. However, the object which has impacted the United Center has been confirmed to be only half a mile wide and half a mile deep, with the reported 3-mile height of the object being confirmed to have stayed the same. However, satellites around the world detected that 5 minutes before impacting the Earth, the initially reported upon object split into 3 separate objects, with one object impacting Chicago, Illinois, one landing safely on the moon, and one object mysteriously hurling itself towards the sun. The object which has impacted the Earth and the moon have both been confirmed to be safe at this time, and that they have not indicated any signs of intelligence or technological components, with the third object's status currently unknown, as when it reached a range of 5 miles from the sun, tracking data on the object became redundant, and the third object is believed to currently be destroyed. The object which has landed on the moon has also seemingly caused satellite disruptions within a 50-mile radius of the lunar surface, as all imaging and satellite monitoring relating to the moon has proven futile. NASA can report that the object which has impacted the United Center is in a shape which is unlike anything ever seen before in human history, and that the object has a cold black exterior. The purposes of all 3 objects are unknown at this time, But NASA and the United States government will be carefully investigating the objects in detail over the coming days and weeks. Further updates on this situation will be provided as they become available. You are listening to the emergency notification system. All broadcast and cable systems shall transmit this message. This station has interrupted regularly scheduled broadcasting at the request of the United States government to keep you informed of situations involving your area. This is WGN9 in Chicago. If you are not in the Chicago area, please tune to a station providing news and emergency information for your area. The emergency notification system has been activated. We now return you to regularly scheduled programming. The following message has been transmitted at the request of the Chicago Police Department. A large fire has broken out near the United Center in downtown Chicago. A brilliant beam of light was noted as being seen shooting into the sky towards the moon for a period of around 30 seconds immediately before seemingly propelling itself directly through the object currently residing on the top of the United Center, setting buildings adjacent to the United Center on fire. A military blockade has been established for all areas within a 10-block radius of the United Center, and all citizens are being asked to avoid the area. Residents within a 2-mile radius of the fire are being asked to vacate their current locations and seek out a shelter outside of a 2-mile radius of the fire at this time. Authorities are asking that everyone avoid the area and, if possible, seek alternate routes. Stay tuned to local media for further updates and instructions on this developing situation. In addition, citizens are reminded that a shelter-in-place order is still in effect and that citizens should still remain in their homes unless traveling due to medical emergencies with the proper accompaniment of civil authorities. This is the emergency notification system serving the Chicago area. If you are not in the Chicago area, please tune to a station providing news and emergency information for your local area. The emergency notification system has been activated to keep you informed.
Saying I'm not funny, I'm sick of hearing words come out your mouth when you're that corny. I got no inhibitions, about to make my come up. Thinking you can pull me down when you're the shit out of luck. Build different, new vision, and I'm not talking about a contact prescription. I'm talking real shit, never fake. If you mad, then just hate in the comments. Even if
we interrupt regularly scheduled programming. This is a galactic emergency. Please stand by. This is an emergency action notification. All broadcast stations and cable systems will transmit this emergency action notification message. This station has interrupted its regular programming at the request of the White House to participate in the emergency notification system. During this emergency, most stations will remain on the air providing news and information to the public in assigned areas. This is WYXO-TV2. We will continue to serve the Minneapolis area. If you are not in this local area, you should tune to stations providing news and information for your local area. You are listening to the emergency notification system serving the Minneapolis area. Do not use your telephone. The telephone lines should be kept open for emergency use. We interrupt our programming at the request of the White House. This is the emergency notification system. All normal programming has been discontinued during this emergency. This is WYXO-TV2. This station will continue furnishing news, official information and instructions for the Minneapolis area. If you are not in the Minneapolis area, you should tune to stations providing news and information for your area. It is important that you listen carefully to announcements from the station in your local area. We interrupt our programming at the request of the White House. This is the emergency notification system. All normal programming has been discontinued during this emergency. This is WYXO-TV2. This station will continue furnishing news, official information and instructions for the following message has been ordered for immediate transmission at the request of the White House, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, and the European Space Agency. Approximately 1 hour and 45 minutes ago in the city of Chicago, Illinois, a brilliant beam of light was sent through the object residing on top of the United Center, setting adjacent buildings ablaze. At the time, it was unknown how this was possible, or where the beam of light was directly emanating from, but approximately 2 minutes ago, the originating location was determined. The beam of light was being sent directly through the object in Chicago, from the object which landed on the moon. After analyzing data gathered over the past 10 hours, and the last 2 hours in particular, indicated that the originating source was from the sun itself. Moments before the beam of light was noticed in the city of Chicago, satellites orbiting the Earth re-established visuals on the object which was lost near the moon. And what the satellites captured was the object seemingly siphoning the energy from the sun and then transporting it to the object on the moon, which sent the beam to Earth. At this time, the scientific community and militaries around the world have determined that these objects are being controlled by an intelligent force of some kind and that the planet is currently under attack. Repeating, the planet is under attack. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
My fellow Americans, it is with great sorrow that I address you all this evening. I come to you all with an apology. An apology that in the grand scheme of things will mean almost nothing. Some time ago, a group calling themselves The Cure broadcasted information they claimed was related to the destruction of 3122 Florence. At the time, I did what my advisors told me to and issued messages claiming that these images and files were nothing but fakes, but now, due to the situation I will soon inform you is on its way to Earth, cleaning the skeletons out of my closet is the only thing I can do to leave this world with a clean conscience. I think it is time that we talk about Trappist. Throughout this message, television stations are being asked to also broadcast not just this emergency notification system auditory message, but to broadcast the images and visual aids which have been sent to your stations alongside the emergency action notification message. But now, we must talk about Trappist. In the year 2000, NASA discovered a celestial object. A red dwarf star to be exact, located within the constellation Aquarius. TRAPPIST-1, the designation given to the discovery, is one of the most significant discoveries in human history for a few reasons. The first one I will highlight is its age. Just before, you saw a short Kepler visual of TRAPPIST-1, captured in the year 2018. Now we measure time, and when this visual was captured, it was in 2018 to us. But TRAPPIST-1 is peculiar in that astronomy professionals and scientists around the world have determined its age to be uncalculatable by human standards. TRAPPIST-1 is older in age than the known universe. And even more intriguing in our minds, when we first discovered TRAPPIST-1, is that it lays host to 4 planets which reside in the habitable zone. TRAPPIST-1e, TRAPPIST-1f, TRAPPIST-1g, and TRAPPIST-1d. But now, I must divulge information that I have been told to keep confidential by some of my advisors, but the information I am about to tell you is the only way to truly understand the threat that TRAPPIST-1 is currently launching towards our beautiful Earth. In 2010, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, in collaboration with the European Space Agency and the United Nations, launched a communications array to each of the aforementioned planets residing in TRAPPIST-1, which all landed safely. These communications arrays were equipped with experimental slip space systems, which allowed them to reach TRAPPIST-1 which resides approximately 39 light-years from Earth, in a matter of weeks. For 6 years, the communications arrays functioned perfectly and prepared for mankind's greatest moment yet. A moment that we cannot tell you happened until now, when it is far too late for celebrations. In 2016, European Space Agency and the National Aeronautics and Space Administration launched 4 subsurface spaceships on a direct course for TRAPPIST-1. 3 of the 4 spaceships, designated as Orion 1D, Orion 1E, and Orion 1G, landed successfully on the planets of TRAPPIST-1D, TRAPPIST-1E, and TRAPPIST-1G respectively, with the 4th ship, Orion 1F, being lost and believed destroyed. For 6 years, the crews, designated as Strike Team Delta, Strike Team Echo, and Strike Team Galileo, have been establishing human colonies on the planets of TRAPPIST-1D, 1E, and 1G. However, approximately 6 months ago, in January of 2022, some disturbing images were received from the only colony which was able to be reached by that point, being from Strike Team Delta's leader on TRAPPIST-1G, reporting that something had awakened on TRAPPIST-1G. What we saw is unable to be broadcast to you all today, but I sadly will describe it to you. Women, children, loving husbands and wives lie dead on the surface of TRAPPIST-1G, with creatures which the United States Space Force have designated as Retlins, launching ships of unknown origin into the skies. And the ships which were launched from TRAPPIST-1G, and presumably TRAPPIST-1D and 1E as well, are the same ships which have now landed in the city of Chicago, on the lunar surface, and in the sun. Now the next images I show you are of the planets within TRAPPIST-1 I did not initially mention. Those being TRAPPIST-1B, TRAPPIST-1C, and TRAPPIST-1H. Unfortunately, even though these 3 planets were deemed uninhabitable and believed to be devoid of life, we were entirely wrong. And we were entirely wrong for a reason we never thought could be right. As it turns out, these 3 planets that we were not monitoring at all were the planets we should have been monitoring all along. As you see here, these are some of the size comparisons to planets you all know in our solar system, to the planets of TRAPPIST-1. The planets to note here in particular are TRAPPIST-1B, 1C, and 1H. In this graph, which measures illumination from the stars displayed relative to the Earth and the Sun, and the uncompressed planet density compared to the Earth, the planets I just mentioned, over the past 24 hours, have done something never believed possible. They have completely moved from their locations in TRAPPIST-1 to locations within our solar system. TRAPPIST-1H has miraculously swapped places in our solar system with the planet Mercury. It has even more miraculously matched the exact properties of Mercury at the moment it swapped places with Mercury, and it currently simply taking the positioning in our system that was once held by Mercury. Satellite imagery has confirmed that likewise, Mercury has assumed the positioning that was once held by TRAPPIST-1H. However, in the case of Mercury, it has done something far more dangerous. Mercury has been completely devastated by this move, with the planet being reportedly destroyed after being transported to TRAPPIST-1. Likewise, TRAPPIST-1B has swapped its place in TRAPPIST-1 to the place formerly occupied by Venus, and much like TRAPPIST-1H, has matched the exact properties of Venus and is currently safely residing where Venus once did. However, much like Mercury, upon relocation, Venus has reportedly been destroyed. And finally, TRAPPIST-1C has swapped places with the planet Mars. And once again, TRAPPIST-1C has adapted to its old tenant, being Mars, and is safely residing where Mars once was, and Mars has, like Mercury and Venus, been destroyed upon relocation to TRAPPIST-1. At this time, it is entirely unknown what the purpose of relocating planets to our system serve, but it is believed that it is for a hostile purpose.
We interrupt for an attack warning. This is a national emergency.
The following message is being transmitted by order of the United States government. Please stand by. The United States has just made 271 launch detections emanating from TRAPPIST-1H, with an additional 487 launch detections emanating from TRAPPIST-1B, and finally 689 additional launch detections emanating from TRAPPIST-1C. North American Aerospace Defense Command is reporting that 1,176 of these objects have outbound trajectories, with the remaining 271 objects having trajectories for locations on Earth. While at this time there are too many terrestrial impact sites to list in this alert, the following key locations will be impacted by some of the objects: Shanghai, China; Tokyo, Japan; Sao Paulo, Brazil; Toronto, Canada; Vancouver, British Columbia; Montreal, Quebec, Canada; New York City, New York; Minneapolis, Minnesota; Milwaukee, Wisconsin; Houston, Texas; Jacksonville, Florida; Pyongyang, North Korea; Seoul, South Korea; Paris, France; London, England; Anchorage, Alaska; Johannesburg, South Africa; and many more. While the remaining 1,176 of these objects have trajectories that are not located on the Earth, the following notable locations in our solar system will be directly impacted: Ceres; Enceladus; Europa; Io; Ganymede; Callisto; Mimas; Iapetus; Dione; Pluto; Jupiter; Tethys; Neptune; Uranus; and Hyperion. Other locations that will be targeted that are outside of our solar system include, but are not limited to, Beta Pictoris; Achernar; Gliese 667cc; Kepler 186f, Kepler 69c, and many more. North American Aerospace Defense Command reports that all objects with a terrestrial trajectory are expected to make impact within the next 25 to 30 minutes, while objects with trajectories not on Earth are expected to make impact within the next 6 hours to 6 days. Please take shelter immediately in a basement or bomb shelter and keep away from all windows, doors, and any other openings to the outside world. If you do not have a basement or cannot reach a bomb shelter in time, please go to the most central part of your home or current location and put as many sturdy objects between you and interior walls. The Illinois National Guard has reported that moments ago, the object located on top of the United Center in Chicago has broken into many pieces, releasing a Redland army estimated to be approximately 25,000 troops in size. In addition, Global Strike Command reports that the remnants of 3122 Florence, which made impact in the Pacific Ocean, has been lost on radar, and that western states in the U.S. which were not entirely destroyed due to the mega tsunami which took place some time ago are currently under siege by Redland troops, with an estimated 500,000 Redland troops present in western parts of North America and moving in all directions where civilization is believed to still be present. Finally, it has been reported that unknown militaristic aircraft have also been created after the object located on top of the United Center broke up into pieces, and at this time, Redland bombers are located in the skies over the following cities in the United States: Cleveland, Ohio; Indianapolis, Indiana; Buffalo, New York, and several others.
This is an emergency action notification. All broadcast and cable systems shall transmit this message. Please stay tuned for more news and information.
We interrupt all broadcasting to bring you this civil emergency message. This is a civil emergency. All broadcast and cable systems shall transmit this message. Important news and information will follow. NORAD as well as Global Strike Command have reported that all 271 objects with terrestrial impact locations have impacted with their targets across the planet, with some notable impact locations in the United States including, but not limited to, Minneapolis, Boston, New York City, Milwaukee, Jacksonville, Washington, D.C., and many more. Intelligence from within and around impact sites have reported that much like the object which originally landed on top of the United Center in Chicago, these objects have all safely landed, with no direct damage being reported from the landing of these objects. However, the objects which have now landed across the globe have been reported as being significantly larger in size, with objects ranging in height from 4 to 5 miles, lengths ranging from 8 to 10 miles, and depths of 10 to 15 miles. These objects, however, have seemingly impacted locations before ascending slightly to cover the skies above impacted cities. It is believed that the Redland military may be planning to unleash devastation similar to that which was reported in Chicago shortly before the massive launches, but on a far larger scale. However, some of the objects directly impacted nuclear power plants and have created a large radiological hazard. Some nuclear power plants located within the United States that were directly impacted include, but are not limited to, the Davis-Besse Nuclear Power Station located in Oak Harbor, Ohio. The Clinton Power Station located in Clinton, Illinois. The Cooper Nuclear Station in Brownville, Nebraska. The Zion Nuclear Generating Station in Zion, Illinois. Prairie Island Nuclear Generating Plant in Welch, Minnesota. The Duane Arnold Energy Center in Palo, Iowa. The North Anna Nuclear Generating Station in Mineral, Virginia. The Regina Nuclear Power Plant in Ontario, New York. The Limerick Generating Station in Pottstown, Pennsylvania. Comanche Peak Nuclear Power Plant in Glen Rose, Texas. River Bend Station in St. Francisville, Louisiana. And many more. There is massive radiation contamination throughout areas located within a 100 to 250 mile radius of these locations. The United States Air Force has also reported that the Retlin aircraft have dropped unknown bombs onto cities they were located above. However, none of these bombs have exploded and have instead lodged themselves deep underground. This is possible as these bombs impacted the Earth with an expected force of 39.403 giganewtons. Impacts from Retlin bombs have occurred in many cities throughout the US, although it is difficult to pinpoint exact impact locations at this time. There is a message from the Retlins.
Press 7 and your call will be transferred to the mothership. Your call will be transferred to the mothership.
That was a message from the Retlins. This is the emergency notification system. Please stay tuned for further information about this galactic crisis.
Streetlights and I'm driving home. Got my friends in the car, we're riding slow, singing along to our favorite song. Oh, oh, oh. 5 years ago I wasn't seeing myself with the things I got in my mental health. Better than it's ever been, stronger than I've ever been. Been fighting for so long, didn't know how to go, knowing I should stop and just let things go, but I couldn't pull myself out. Yeah, I needed you when I was low, struggling with how much I could control. Didn't know what to answer when it came to blows, but you were there to help me ride the flow.
This song is to say thank you to everyone
from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Yeah, riding around town with my friends. Gonna come through, got a couple plans. Lately I'm just trying to relax. Yeah, anxiety and nothing, trying to leave that thing in the past. I was low, but now I got my head in the clouds. Got my true friends around me, I'm not messing around. I'm sorry if I sound dumb, but I'm so sick of caring about it, so don't try to bring me down. I'm sick of all this hurting. We can't be sure that it won't ever end in flames, but we have to try. I've been living on the edge, yeah. I've been living on the edge, yeah. I've been living on the edge, yeah. Of certainty.
No. Where am I? What's going on here? These people. Where's this music coming from? There better be a good explanation for what, Wait a minute.
Hey! Someone out there hear me? I'm locked in here! The doors won't work! Damn it! Can anyone hear me? Hello? Sun